Hello, my name is Peter Parfitt. Welcome to New Brit Workshop. It's always rather nice to have something new from Festool from time to time, and I'm very grateful that they've sent to me on loan their new Cyclone separator. When you take delivery of the CT20, these are the parts that you will receive. First of all, there's the Cyclone itself, which is in this sustainer element. But if I open it up, inside you can see the actual Cyclone. It's this part here. Your vacuum extractor will be connected through here, and then your tool would be connected through here. Next, you have a bottom container. I think they call it a pan. And this is designed to either take the Cyclone itself on top, like so that the whole thing is a very compact unit, but with a very small drop box underneath, or it would be used as the bottom holder for the drop box, which is here. The drop box has a lid which would be put on once it's full of debris and waste, so that you can then take it for disposal or put it back in your van, whatever the case might be. And there's a hose provided which would go from your extractor to the inlet port of the Cyclone. And in this configuration you see the Cyclone on top of the large clear drop box, and that's sitting in the Cyclone pan, as they call it, and that whole lot would be mounted on top of your CT. And this gives you then a much greater capacity. Now, ordinarily, when you buy one of these, you will be provided with a disposable bag which fits inside the drop box, and when it's full, you tie it up and throw it away. Those aren't available at the moment because this is a pre-release setup, and so they've got it to me as quickly as they could. And I'll show you how I've managed to use just an ordinary black bag instead of the Festool provided clear bags. I think the advantage of a clear bag, of course, is that you can then see how much debris you've got inside your drop box, and then can empty it at the appropriate time. So I'll just show you the two configurations of the Cyclone. Here I have my CT26 extractor, and I've got the hose which runs to the tool, and this is the hose that connects the Cyclone to the extractor. And I'm using it without the drop box, just in the system pan. If I now take this off and slip in the drop box, replace this on top, and there you see the full configuration. The same arrangement with the hose to the extractor, the hose to the tool, and now we have the larger drop box. Now, in the absence of the Festool clear bags, I've got an ordinary black bag here, but it's a bit too big, so I'm just going to shorten it a little bit to make it a little more manageable. So all I do is I lift off the Cyclone and put that just there for now, and here's the drop box, and I'm going to place the bag in there. Now, it's important to open the bag out and to make sure it goes down into all of the corners. It has to be completely in there, and only then, when it's completely in, put the top edge of the bag over the rim there. Once more, just check it's all down in place. That bag is completely empty, as you saw. Now I'm going to place this on here. So there, that is completely seated, and I'm now just going to make sure it's locked into place with the two clips. That now is completely joined together, black bag inside. Now, before I go any further, I want just to give you a little bit of background about Cyclone Technology. I'm not an expert, but I have had several Cyclones in use in my workshop for a number of years. Now, here's my large Cyclone. It's designed for 4-inch inlet and outlet. At the top here, I've got a hose that goes to my extractor, which is way up out of sight, and on the right here is the connection for a hose which goes to my planing machine ordinarily. And down here on the floor, I've got a pile of shavings and things which I'm going to suck up with the extractor, and you'll be able to see through the clear plastic of the Cyclone just what happens to this debris. And the Cyclone is sitting on top of a drop box, and my drop box is just an ordinary plastic dustbin. And there's no fancy seal between the drop box and the Cyclone contraption at all. Let me turn the extractor on. Just below me, out of sight for you, is all that waste. And you just watch what happens. So here's the end. And what you're seeing is the debris coming in through here, and then it spins round, it gets faster and faster, and goes down into the drop box. Meanwhile, the air is going up through the tube in the middle. Now, with this arrangement, the bag that is in this very small extractor up here will last a year, and this container doesn't get full at all. It gets the odd shaving in from time to time, but nothing more than that. Now, Festool make it quite clear about the sorts of applications that you're going to be able to use this Cyclone for, and they're aiming it at any process that generates high volumes of dust or wood chips or whatever. And they say quite clearly on the website that this would be aimed at someone who's doing a lot of work with mineral dust, you know, working on drywall, smoothing down plastered walls, generating a lot of that type of dust, people working with grinders, you know, going into concrete floors or whatever it might be, and also woodworkers with one of those hand operated electric planing machines where you're generating a lot of chips very quickly. And so this is going to help you preserve the life of the bag in the extractor, but also keep its filtration properties going throughout the working day and not compromising them in any way. And you really do need to look at the Festool website to see the broad range of applications that this Cyclone is aimed at. Now, there's been some discussion on the internet about how efficient this Cyclone might be. And I think that it's right that I should try and end any speculation about its efficiency or otherwise now. So I don't know, I haven't had a go at this, I haven't tried to check it before this video is being made, so I'm breaking new ground. And what I'm going to do is, my wife's going to kill me. I've got our kitchen scales here, and they weigh down to the nearest gram. And I'm going to be putting containers of debris, which I'll then suck up using the Cyclone system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh each container of debris and write it down. And when I've done a few of them, I'm then going to take the bag out of the Cyclone and weigh that. And we'll see just what proportion of the debris going in has been trapped in the bag. Now, I don't really profess that this is a scientific test, because it may be that my hoses aren't very good, it may be my extractor is not as good as it should be, and so on. However, I think it will give you an indication, and Festool don't make any wild claims. They don't say it takes 99.9% of all the dust and debris out of the system. It doesn't. And it's going to be a lot less than that. But it's going to be a significant amount, I'm sure. And I expect it to be certainly enough to make it worthwhile using on a job site. So here we go. So there are the scales. I'll turn them on. There we are in 0 grams. Weigh this, 360. So I've got a before column here. And my after reading is 66. So that means I've put a net 294 grams in that first time. I'll go and get some more. Now this time I've got some of the shavings that my planing machine put out, and this time the before is 141, much less. Just goes to show just how much air is in something like this. And I'll suck those up straight away. Right, so here's the next one, and that's 341. Now, as a matter of interest, you can see here I've got some larger pieces as well as the finer dust. So this is pretty representative of woodworking workshop dust, but some of the fine stuff is pretty fine. Well, I make that 644 grams that we've sucked up, and so I'm now going to get the bag out and find some way of putting it on here. Right, there's the bag, and I'll try and get rid of the air without causing too much anxiety in the workshop. There, all that is. We'll go over to the scales now. Right there, the scale's reading 0, and let's pop that on there. That says 661. I'll try and get you in close. I don't know if that's showing up. Can you see the numbers? It says 6. I beg your pardon, it's 662 it's reading. It is reading 66, well, it's hovering between 662 and 663. Oh, I said this wasn't very scientific, but I've not taken into account the weight of the plastic bag. Now, I know I did cut a little piece off the bag that went in there. This is a whole one, and I'm just going to see roughly how much it weighs. Oh, that's interesting. Right, that's 45 grams. 45 grams. So what I'm going to do now, because that's significant, I'm now going to chop off that piece, a piece about the same size I chopped off before. There's the piece I chopped off before. Pretty jolly close to the same amount. Right, so this now is the same size bag that we put in the machine. That says 34 grams. So if I take 34 away from my figure here, so we put in 644 and we got out 628. So the amount that's gone all the way through to the bag is the difference between these two, which is 16 grams. Now, 16 as a percentage of what's gone in there is very low. 16 divided by 644 multiplied by 100. Equals. So 2.48, let's call it 2.5% gets through. So it is working at 97.5%. So there are my figures. It's the amount before, the amount after, and the difference, the sum. And then I took into account the 34 grams weight of the bag, which meant a net input of debris into the drop box of 628 grams. I then took that away from the amount that we put in originally. Got 16 grams. 16 as a percentage of 644 is, we said, 2.5%. So 97.5% of what I put in has gone into the black plastic bag. Well, 97.5% is pretty good. It was a lot more than I anticipated. I really genuinely thought it was going to be down at the 85, 90 figure. Now, I've not tried it with mineral dust. I cannot. I have got no means of generating it. I don't have a little pile of it somewhere which I can access. So I'm afraid that's not part of this test in any way, shape or form. Well, that's it. I can now take the scales back before my wife finds out that I've borrowed them. Although, hang on a sec, she always checks my videos before I release them. Oops. Now, all of this was absolutely genuine, but don't take my word for it. Go to a show, go to your dealer, try and get hold of one of these, have a look at it, chat to other people about it, look on the internet, see what other people are saying about it. My test was absolutely genuine, but it wasn't covering sort of mineral dust. It was just woodworking sort of debris and woodworking fine dust. Now, Festool say that this cyclone will work with any of the CT20, 36, 48 range of extractors, and it doesn't matter whether they are the L class or the M class, or whether they're auto clean or not. So it will work with the full range of the big boy extractors. But this is the little CT Sys, and just look how neat this is. This is the connector hose, that comes with the Cyclone, and it fits just down into there, perfectly into the CT Sys, as though it was designed for it. Now, I haven't tested this, but the only drawback may be that the CT Sys doesn't quite have enough suction to make the Cyclone work as efficiently. But even so, it may be worth a try. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.